Good morning. Good morning. Another beautiful day in the market. Um, Nice Friday. We had a short trading week this week, but still walking away green from the week. Yesterday I did take trades on Root, ROOT. Nice little dollar move off of this open. Gave me a pop from like 13s or actually less than 13s. Um, yeah, pop from 12, like 1236 where I have it marked, all the way up here, almost to 14. We really, I was talking to Donnell. I really thought this thing was gonna rip 14, but it didn't. So it gave two setups that I really liked. One was the ATR break high, break of the ATR high and hold. The other one was the tweezer move here. So what a tweezer is basically you have a red candle that's pretty big, and the next candle is green, but it stays within the body of the red candle. It closes within the body of this candle, and it continues to make a move up. So that one I did not get. I saw this one later on in the day. I actually had just took this one took the one trade for like a $350 scalp, and I was like, I kind of after I got out, I was like, man, can I get back in? So I got back in, lost a little bit getting back in because there really wasn't any setup. It was like an after the setup play. But I've seen these continue to grind up during the day, so I was like, I'm gonna give it a chance, right? So I got back in half size. The first trade was 300 shares, and I was like, man, if I'm gonna do this, I need to reduce size. So I just reduced to 150, and it stopped me out. And I was like, okay, well, I reduce again half of that, 75 share, got in 75 shares, and that's when this candle happened on the 75 shares. I got in down here at 1250. And this thing ripped up to 1350, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna let it ride. Go ahead and watch this thing rip up 14. It could not do it, and it slammed back down and stopped me out. So I was like, whatever. Very small losses, keeping the losses super small on that one. Um, so yeah, green on that one. I only took one main trade where I saw my setup this week. Worked out perfectly. The only thing was I did give back some, trying to look for continuation on this move. All right, other things that are popping up. Good morning, Cheryl. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Lori Lee. Other things that are popping up. So we know that Nvidia has been going crazy this week. Nvidia has, let me pull it up on the big time frame. All right, so this is the monthly chart, the weekly chart, the 1 day, the 4 hour, the hour, and the 15-minute. And as you can see, just looking on this monthly, look at this big explosion on Nvidia. Now, we were looking at Nvidia earlier this week, and we were like, man, there's a lot of good news on this thing. It just hasn't started moving yet. And when it started ripping, I mean, there was nothing you can really do. If anybody was short on that one, moving, it made a 200, almost a $200 move per share on Nvidia. So any shorts, they just got crucified. But definitely something to watch, and it does pay a dividend. It is a little bit higher price. I kind of look for lower price dividends to get in, so they can play higher, which most of my portfolio is, and most of my portfolio is green because of that. Get in low, buy low, and I'm looking to continue to hold because they're paying me. But if they go high enough, I will sell out. Other things that have been showing up. Square popped up here earlier today as well. SQ moving in the aftermarkets of yesterday. I believe that Square has some earnings coming up. 7 o'clock. Block stock soars after earnings. That's what it was. Okay, so it was a big after hours move, just like with Nvidia, moving from $68 all the way up here to 78, dropping back down, and then going on up towards the 80s. So very interesting earnings plays. And some of these earnings plays are kind of hard to read because they're happening in aftermarket when the volume is kind of died down, and people and big money really plays around. You know, you can really lose a lot of money, but you can gain a lot of money with the right setups in aftermarket or pre-market for that matter. All right, so let's jump over here to um so the top mover on today is SUGP in the small caps. SUGP, let's look at this news real quick and see what's going on. This is SU Group Holdings Limited Ordinary Shares. Press release for it, let's see, 3 days ago. That's a while ago, especially on a short week. But it is up 73%. One of the world's top 5 freight services company selects SU Group for enhanced threat detection. So what is this top 5 freight services company that selected them? And is this a Chinese stock? Let me see. Because you know how these Chinese stocks have been these last couple of days or weeks, actually. They go crazy and then they just take everything, take everything back. Let's see, profile. So SU Group Holdings Limited, through its subsidiaries, operates as an integrated security-related services company in Hong Kong and internationally. The company operates through 2 segments: security-related engineering services business and security guarding and screening services business. It primarily provides security-related engineering, security guarding, and screening and related vocational training services. The company also engages in the design, supply, installation, maintenance, and testing and commissioning of various security systems. Okay, so this is pretty much all cybersecurity and all types of, I guess they have physical security too, looking at what they got. It offers threat detection systems, including X-ray machines, trace detection products, metal detectors, and mail screening machines. So I wonder how big is this catalyst going to be? Because I know a couple weeks ago we had the Israeli catalyst that came through. That was also an IT company, cybersecurity. But it took a while. It took a while to actually play out, and it actually, I think it ripped like the next day after. I think it was over the weekend, and it ripped. So sometimes it takes a little while. It takes people's eyes to get on these to see if they really want to go somewhere. So it may not be on the same day type of play, but it is above $5. You know, I like to see it break that $5 barrier. So actual traders with, you know, some more capital can come in and play. So it is above the barrier, and we'll see what happens today. Let's go ahead and look at it on the charts. It does not look like it's got a whole lot of trading history. On the monthly chart, it looks like it's only been trading for 2 months. So 2 months is not a lot of time, you know? Not a lot of time to set up support and resistance, but there may still be opportunities on it as long as it stays above that 5. Or it could get shorted through the 5. We don't know. Good morning, Boss Lynch. Basically a private army. Exactly. Yay. I don't know, man. They're based out of Hong Kong. I don't know. I just have a lot of questions about the Chinese stocks. I guess I just don't really, not that I don't know. I know how they move. They can make a big move, but it's just how fast and quickly they come back down is insane. And some of them don't even come back down. They halt for no reason and then just open up lower. So I don't know. And it could also be vice versa. Some of them halt and open up higher, but it's kind of a gamble. Okay, so we looked at we looked over Nvidia, we looked over Square. We also had another mover that is up here, Lunar. Lunar sent a ship to the moon last Saturday. Last Saturday, and it actually got some pretty good trading action on. Let's see, what day did it get that trading action? Back here on Tuesday, got trading action and then dumped. So dumped from where it was $13 all the way back down to 8. Came down here, consolidated, consolidated around this 8, and then ripped back up to 14 in aftermarket. So Lunar was a kind of hard one to trade because of how choppy it was. I mean, you could, yes, if you were to get in there and just hold and be like, hey, we're going to the moon, you might have done good for like a day, but that drop would have definitely hurt you if you bought too high. But yeah, definitely made some type of support at the $9 and then bounced off of that in aftermarket. But is that a trustworthy bounce? If it only happened in aftermarket with the low volume and without the real people sentiment there, is it a real move? Okay, so let's jump back over here to the scans. Looking at the NQ, we continue to see the NQ rip up. So it had a previous high of about the 18,000s and just eating through that even as we speak. So I'm glad, it can do whatever it wants to do. My portfolios are safe, I'm just preparing the portfolio for any kind of downturn. Even if it downturns, I think I'll still be good to go because of the things that I'm invested in. But you know, just keeping the strength. Everybody thought, oh, the bubble's gonna pop, but it looks like it's popping in the wrong direction. It continues to just find its way higher and higher. Okay, let's also look at the SPY. The SPY should be following the same trend, which it is, breaking up there and continue to go higher. Let me look at the news on the SPY. We rarely look at the news. Let's see. All right. President Biden says had an honor of meeting the, oh my goodness, that word is crazy. Let me make this bigger. Okay. So let's see what the starting news is. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin rise as crypto market eyes $2 trillion market cap. Reddit reveals Bitcoin. I don't know if Reddit is a heavy investor in Bitcoin. They may be. Probably are. I mean, they always have everybody that's pumping the stocks and pumping different markets. So they probably are invested. Ethereum investments as social giant files for a $5 billion IPO. Now, that's not an ICO. That's not an initial coin offering. That is a IPO. So they're coming to the stock market, Ethereum. So that is crazy because I'm guessing they don't want to be decentralized anymore. If they're coming to the stock market, they're going to be under centralized control and the stock's rules, but they will be open to even more investors because of the safety precautions that are put into place in the stock market. So maybe people will definitely be dipping their little toes into some Ethereum. All right, so the next thing, let's see what sticks out. Closing bell. President Biden says had an honor of meeting Navalny's wife, daughter, gonna be announcing sanctions against Putin, who is responsible for his death. Okay. Oh, this was the documentary. I saw a documentary in my feed about a guy that was imprisoned over there in Russia, or in prison somewhere. I don't have the exact details, but yeah, I guess they put a hit on him. Is the speculation, but we'll see how that goes. If Biden is putting sanctions on Putin about this, I don't really know. I have to read more into it to see the actual details, but I don't know what that would actually affect or what stocks that would affect, but I don't know. All right. Let's see. If you invested, I hate these posts. It always says if you invested in the stock that ripped, if you invested $1,000, then you would be blah blah blah. It's like, bro, it's over. They do this because people have FOMO. They have a fear of missing out, and so they're like, wait, so you mean I could just take $1,000, throw it in there, and make such and such? No, the move has already happened, right? It's like, no, you're a day late, dollar short. Yay, man. Great AI interference. We've seen some AI catalysts over the last week. but they kind of fizzled out behind some of these other big movers like Nvidia or some of these big earnings plays. Um, let's see. What else can we get into before the market opens? So we have about 15 minutes before the market opens. I'm continuing to monitor the scans over here and look for anything else that's popping up. Let's jump over into the earnings that are coming out. So we have Berkshire Hathaway earnings are relatively close in the dates. So it says last year they reported on the 25th of February. So we are 2 days away from the 25th. So Berkshire Hathaway should be publishing their earnings soon. I'm looking through Coca-Cola. No, that's not the real Coke, is it? That's a partner. Coca-Cola Euro Pacific partner. They're doing some earnings releasing. Warner Brothers. Let's see. And the website that I'm on is www.nasdaq.com. And I dropped that. So this is where I kind of see all the earnings stuff. Okay. Any other earnings place? Because earnings have been going crazy, especially in aftermarket. But the thing is, when you're sitting with aftermarket, you really need to have some kind of risk management plan or have some very strong confidence in the stock that you're trading because it can go either way in aftermarket. Big gap up, big gap down. So you got to be ready to sit through some pain. Let's see. What else? What else? Any other well-known ones that I see? Not really. They pretty much got the big names up top. And this is Friday, February 23rd. Let's just look at Monday. Zoom is doing some earnings on Monday aftermarket. Let's see who else. RCKT is posting some earnings. Now, this one was a crazy one we saw. I don't know if that was this year or last year, but Rocket Pharmaceuticals was one of those rippers. I forgot if they were working on breast cancer or let me go look at it actually. Let's go pop over to RCKT. But we definitely saw that one rip. I think it was last year, it might have been the early part of this year. Let's see what they're working on. Treatment of severe leukocyte adhesion deficiency. I remember this one. It was something else dealing with cancer. Yeah, maybe that was all that they had. I don't know. Phase two. Anyway, their earnings are coming up, so if we see them pop up, they might be it might give some opportunities for some quick scalps on that one. What is the price on this one? Oh, it's up to $29. We saw it when it was down to, let's jump back over here, RCKT. So we saw this when it was down at like $10 down here when it first started ripping. And it doesn't have a whole lot of, it's kind of got a weird chart pattern here. Had a gap down from 25 all the way down to under 10. And it does, you can see these big rips on the monthly. So I'm gonna definitely be looking at this one. I might keep it on watch actually for next week for its earnings play to see how aggressive it gets. Why do I have losers? What do I think about the publications like Motley Fool? Um, it depends on how you use those publications. So different news. Well, I guess you have to know the strategies of the people with big money. They have the money to pay for publications very quickly, a lot quicker than regular people, right? So when they want something posted, they want something circulated, or if they want something to look more legitimate than it really is, they can just pay a news company like Motley Fool to get the news out there, right? Um, I would say I would take everything with a grain of salt and get an accumulation of data from different sources. So, yeah, they got a lot of money, but how many sources are they really able to push this thing out to? And how many sources does it really take for this thing to be like, something that people are actually looking at getting into? Because they can post some crazy stuff on Motley Fool. I've seen, I got a couple of sites pulled up here. I use Market Watch, FinViz, BAM SEC, Motley Fool. And Motley Fool, they do a lot of like stock picks and things like that, but I really just never have gotten into it because I usually have my scanners that can find stuff pretty easy. I programmed all these scanners to do whatever I need them to do. If I want to look into large caps, if I want to look into mid caps or whatnot, I can just put together a scanner. Um, a lot of times, rather than going to Motley Fool, I don't know. I like the accumulation of data. Motley Fool by itself is just I never take anything from one source. Even when I'm doing research for these types of stocks, I use Yahoo Finance, I use Nasdaq.com, I use FinViz. I jump around. I want to see what everybody is seeing, and then I'll make my decision on what I want to do about it. Um, and it also depends on what kind of position that I'm taking. If I'm taking a longer term position, I really want to see a good chart setup. I want to see, I want to know that I'm buying low and not high. I mean, if it's at the highs of the highs and it has a high probability or if it does fall, it can fall a lot. I'm probably not going to take the trade. But if I can manage the risk, if I can get into something that is safer, I'll do that based on their financials rather than the news because it's a longer term play. I'm looking at their financials, what they can produce in the next 3, 6 months, a year, 5 years. That's what I'm looking at. But for short term, I really I take the news as a grain of salt, and I want to see the people come in and make their decision on it because when I say the people, I don't mean just retail traders, people that are trading with smaller accounts. I mean prop firms. And recently, I actually saw a couple of videos on YouTube talking about them closing down prop firms and things like that, and saying, "Hey, what are these traders going to be doing?" and all of that stuff. I mean, if they have a trade plan, it's not that hard to just trade with your own money and make money. Um, Especially if you got the trading experience, you've already built an edge and all of this stuff, and they're like, "Oh, prop firms are closing down." It's like, and these people are still traders. They can do exactly what they were doing on a smaller. They just scaled down, right? They're not trading, millions of dollars for some company. Anyway, Motley Fool is one of those things where I'll take their I'll take their um what would you call it? I would take their insight, but I wouldn't take it as gospel. I'd be like, oh, okay, that sounds good. Let me go look further into this. But yeah, we have about 6 minutes to the open. SUGP has continued to fade down towards the $5. I don't I really like things to be over five, so big money can have those nice entries and push these types of stocks around. But this one definitely has a fade looking pattern. Even if it is hot at the open, the overall pre-market sentiment is telling me, hey, this is looking like a fader. So, that's why I'm kind of wary of these, especially without the trade history that we like to see. And I don't think the press releases was that hot either on SUGP. but it is the biggest mover still on the day at 55%. There may be some bigger movers under 5, but those will populate after the open and I'll see them. Yeah, this wasn't a great catalyst anyway. So yeah, SUGP, it has every reason to fade. Maybe it gets crazy. It's one of those Chinese stocks. Maybe people are like, oh, this is a Chinese stock. Let's just get into it and see if it rips. Or maybe some chat room pumps it. But for me, it just doesn't have the backbone that I like. Good morning, Mike D in the building. We're 4 minutes away from the open. Kind of seeing what's going to be living today. Lunar just continues to get a lot of action. Has 15 million shares still traded. I don't even know if they've landed on the moon yet. I know they started the trip last Saturday. I don't even know if they made it to the moon, but this thing has continued to grind up during the days, up 38% now. Carvana is also another one that's up. It's a little bit higher priced at $67 per share. And then following that is Square, which is only up about 17%. Yep. So these are our top four, and we only have one really small cap one. Lunar is kind of small cap too, but it just grinds around. We'll watch those though. We'll watch them all. And also Nvidia may do some continuation today. But Friday is usually a natural sell-off day. People like to take profit into the weekends and kind of have something, banked for the weekend and come back in hot on the next week, which is what I'm doing. Coming back for next week when I see something that's looking pretty good. Got a pretty good pre-market. And the thing is, your time frame, like when I'm looking at my time frame to trade, I'm looking to trade between 9 o'clock and pretty much 11. I want to be making my entries before 11. And after 11, I just go to lunch. But I want a good setup for my time frame. I want to see something that in pre-market was like people, this had the attention, this had people's attention. And then when I come into my time frame, I'm like, all right, I know people are here. Let me capitalize on some moves. All right there. We have about 2 minutes left to the open. And Mike D is looking over there at Carvana. I think that's it's between Carvana and Lunar, but I think Carvana has 1 million shares traded, so Lunar has 15. We'll see who takes the day between these two. And Nvidia still kind of, not a huge move, only 2% up after that big move. I think it's going to need to consolidate a little bit before it decides to do something else. Or it may just continue to follow the SPY, which is straight up. SPY over 500, hit a high up here of 509 and continuing to show green towards the open. Now, usually when the open comes, there will be some sellers, there will be some people that want to get out, and then we'll kind of see it choose a direction. 1 minute until the open. And SUGP does not look like it's going to be able to hold this $5. It is trying its best, but yeah, I think it's going to end up fading. So that's not going to be one that I'm really into on today. 53 seconds until the open. Good morning, Donnell. Nvidia already it's showing some bullishness out of this thing. Come on now. So top four that we're looking at: Lunar, LUNR, Carvana, CVNA. I had Square up there. I don't really know what Square is going to end up doing, but Nvidia is definitely the last one. Here we go. Here we go. All right, markets are open. Let's see. Cheryl says, "I tell you what, I hate. I missed out on, and it's very unique. The building make construction of the materials used to build ghost cities in China." Um, oh, gotcha, gotcha. Yeah. So ghost cities in China. Let me look into that. I don't think. Let me pull that up on another screen real quick. Ghost cities in China. Right now, we're sitting on Carvana going down out of the open. SUGP going down under $5, so that's a no go for me. Lunar making its way up. Let me get these ghost cities in China. Newly built cities. Okay, yeah, yeah, that's the thing. Let's see. Futuristic buildings, but virtually no people. China's rapid urbanization has backfired, leaving behind enormous and uninhabited cities. Okay, so who's buying them? Who is purchasing these ghost cities in China? Cities lost in limbo. All of the I see the documents, or not the documents, the articles from 2022. Ghost cities, how China's ghost cities are linked. The story of China's ghost cities. Interesting. Crumbling buildings. It seems like some of them are unfinished. So it's kind of like they almost completed them and they just were like, nah, I'm good. Interesting, interesting. I mean, with how many people are in China, it seems like they would be filling those places up pretty quickly. And that's probably what the engineers were thinking when they were building them. Man, we got a lot of people, man, but not so much. You got to have procreation to fill those cities up. Lunar dumping, not going to the moon. And of course, I like to let the first 30 minutes kind of play out because first 30 minutes is shaking out people and really deciding which way it's going to go. And also, you have to take everything into consideration. It's Friday and people are trying to take profit out of the market. Um Not all of them, but enough of them to make something fade, to make something go down, right? Square popping up through there, getting up and doing a ATR break. The ATR was at 80.79, and this is one of the ones that on the small caps, this is one of the plays that I like to play after I see the first couple of minutes or the first 30 minutes play out. Then I look for this ATR break and hold. So it's kind of doing it early. It's doing it on the first 15 minutes, and it may end up reversing because of such a early little push out. We'll see. Back over Nvidia. Wow. Nvidia, we just looked at it and it was at 809. It's up to 815 with the ATR break as well out of the open. And we'll see if it can hold up the ATR of 811. And when I say ATR, I mean the average true range, and that's calculated on the last 14 candlesticks. So I have calculations on my 15 minute, my daily, 4 hour, and I guess it's all of them. But I have the ATR calculated there to look for those breakouts. Let's see, let's see. But very, very big moves, almost up to 820, and it has moved the entire value level up to a whole new level on Nvidia, almost to 820. Now, if we look at the start of this move, this thing started from down here, $600. And now it's up at, well, I say 600, 600 and around, we'll say 650. And then is now up to 820. That's an insane move. And I congratulate any options players that was on that and played options on this, because Nvidia was a probably a major options play for some professional, or not just professionals, but people that got into those options, even small. All right, Carvana was another one that we were looking at. Carvana moving up as well. So all of these within the first couple of minutes, getting these pushes up, giving whoever is in them some nice places to take profit for sure at the open. This first 15-minute candle will be closing in 10 minutes. So we'll see what the real sentiment is after these moves here. But very interesting day. Tesla, what are you doing over here? Tesla trying to get up, getting pushed back to these 195s, but it really doesn't matter. I got my buys in already, and it is definitely doing what I needed to do. Just continue to grind higher. If it wants to come down, I'll just add, but whatever. Not too worried about that. And that's another thing. Some of these investments you get into, it's like make the most educated decision that you can make, and especially for longer term plays, let it play out. Like, don't be stressing, man. Like my dividend portfolio, when I first started building it, I was like, man, is this gonna happen? Is this gonna happen? I'm like, yo, let me just chill. Let me just chill. And since I've been chilling, all green. Just doot, 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 filling up the bucket. You know. Anyway, Lunar looking pretty weak. Has almost no momentum there. Definitely not keeping up with Carvana, so I'm gonna take Lunar off and throw Carvana up there. So we got three that are pretty much destroying shorts right now: Nvidia, Square, and Carvana. What is this? Lyft with a dead pre-market, but jumping up here quite a bit. This is a rideshare company. Jumping from $15 up here to 16.35. Did they have some type of? They have a private offering of 400 million convertible senior notes. Let's see about this. Lyft announces private offering. Okay, Starbucks regeneration. I want to go to their actual press releases so I can verify this on Lyft. LYFT. Okay. So Lyft CFO to participate in fireside chat hosted by Morgan Stanley, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Anything bigger, anything about investments. That's what we're looking for. What is that money doing other than that offering? Do they have any kind of earnings coming up? I'm not seeing any kind of earnings, but and I didn't see Lyft on the list that we looked at earlier, so it may not be a big player on today. Okay, so Nvidia did break the 820s. Square coming back off of its high, that profile high up there, hit a 83.25 level. And then Carvana continues to kill the game, going towards $80. Well, it's at 75 now, but going towards $80. We'll see what the consolidation looks like on these. Lori Lee called out AXTI. AXTI, let's look at that. AXTI for $4 stock, making some moves out of pre-market. So started down here in the $2 area and now has blasted all the way up here to the 431s. Let's actually look into this one. AXTI. Press releases. AXTI announces fourth quarter and fiscal year 2023 financial results. That was 17 hours ago. The last news was on January 23rd about the scheduling of these earnings releases. Now, what kind of company is this, AXTI? AXTI description: it designs, develops, manufactures, and distributes compound and single element semiconductor substrates. It produces semiconductor substrates using its proprietary vertical gradient freeze technology. The company offers indium phosphide for use in data center connectivity using light slash lasers, 5G communications, fiber optic lasers and detectors, passive optical networks, silicon photonic integrated circuits, terrestrial solar cells. I mean, this thing is pretty much every type of light is what they're kind of using here. Um, but they actually create the looks like they create some of the subcomponents of some of these bigger manufacturers. So this is definitely interesting. Where is this based out of? California, Fremont, California. So this is a US based one, incorporated in 1986. Man, you got a light, they can use it. They can make you a couple meal off a light. All right, it says that it sells its products throughout direct sales force in the United States, China, and Europe, as well as throughout independent sales representatives and distributors in Japan, Taiwan, Korea, and internationally. Interesting. I wonder, will they? Let's look at the bigger chart. Looking on the monthly, we can see that they do have history. They got history. So they've been trading out here. They've been open since 1986, so plenty of history. They were riding on the lows around a dollar, have been increasing ever so slightly. So in these past 4 months, buyers have been coming into this thing, coming into their earnings. So we'll see what happens if that is something that continues to play out in the upcoming weeks. I'll definitely put that on the notes to keep an eye out for AXTI, a US based company out of California. Interesting. All right, so yeah, AXTI up there. Let's see. Back over to Carvana. Carvana pulling back off of those 75s back into the range of 72. Lunar. Oh, yeah, I forgot I wasn't gonna look at Lunar. Square pullback as well. And this is why we let the first couple of minutes play out. Let people get shaken out, and then you start your, rather than having to react, you're entering into the trade after a reaction has happened, and you're looking for that reversal. If you're looking for reversals, I don't know what kind of plays you're looking for, but I'm usually looking for either a reversal or continue of a break, an ATR breakout. Nvidia still holding its own right under the 820s, but looking at the other movers on the day, how they pull back, we'll have to see if Nvidia respects the sentiment in the market and continues to pull back, or doesn't want to push on higher. Any other call outs I will definitely look into if you drop them in the chat as well. Rivian. Yeah, lift this did not have that push on today. And Carvana seems to be taking over for the majority of the volume coming in now, because Lunar is almost stagnant with this volume. And sometimes I know that some traders actually want the stock to consolidate, especially if it consolidates and it gives dollar moves within its consolidation. They just play the support and resistance. They just buy the supports, sell the resistance, sell, buy, sell, and they do that all day. And so you wonder, man, this thing is consolidating for a while. They're making their money in there while it's consolidating. So if you get into a consolidation that is super tight or, not really paying you what you want to be paid, you might need to look for a consolidation with bigger range. So as of now, on the 15 minute, not really seeing a true pattern setup, just a big green bar, no kind of real pattern in here. We have to see which way it decides to go. The next 15-minute has opened yet though, so should be the beginning of a new war zone. Square coming back and testing this ATR high. ATR was at 80.90, $80.90, and holding right above that ATR right there. So we'll see if it'll crash out. And this one's kind of off of the ATR. Carvana's kind of away from its ATR by about $5-6, something like that. And Nvidia coming back down to test this ATR out. So the average true range is, the way that mine is calculated, it's based on the last 14 bars of whatever time frame that I'm looking at. So this is based on the last 15 or the last 14 15-minute bars. And we'll see if it comes back into its average true range or if it wants to go higher. But with these bigger, larger market caps, it takes a lot of money to move them. So when they get moving in a direction, so let's say if it does start going short, you need to wait until that momentum is showing some signs of slowing with a pattern, right? Because some of these moves, man, they get going and they just don't stop. You get in, they're like, this is a stopping point, and then it goes down another $5. And so you're down $5 per share, wondering what happened. AXTI forming a lower high here, but still holding above ATR. The ATR on this one was 351. And for plays, like when I'm looking at small caps, I really don't buy high over the ATR. I want to see the ATR be held right around this area for a little bit of build up, and then I want to see a shoot off. This one shot away from ATR, and I mean, it's got to come all the way back and lose almost a 50 cents of profit, 75 cents of profit, just to try to test back and find some support. So we'll see how that goes, if it wants to go higher, if it's just going to be a grinder up. But for me, there's really no interest here on the 15-minute. Maybe if you're looking at a lower time frame, maybe. But yeah, not really a whole lot of juice there. And all of them pretty much have this same look. Square held up the ATR here at the 81 and going higher. So at this point, like if this was a small cap, my stop point, my stop out would be right here at the 81s, and I would just be holding for wherever it's gonna go, right? And that's how I'll play it. Came back, tested right above the ATR, didn't even really get a full test, and back out of there. And this thing jumped back up from 81 all the way to 82. That's a $2.50 move right there, or more, on that ATR retest, the ATR break and hold. So that's the same play that we see in the small caps, except the small caps is a little bit faster money because it's more dangerous, right? Nvidia now making its way back, getting that momentum started. Now, we know that overall, this big bar, as long as it doesn't kill this whole bar, I'm thinking it's going to be bullish on the day. It has, I mean, it's going to have to break the ATR low. That's a big move back down to 800s if it does move down there. But like I said, you got to kind of wait for some type of pivot area. Or if you've just been trading NVIDIA and it's the only thing you trade, you probably know how it moves. I do not, because I don't just sit down and study NVIDIA. Carvana, um, kind of slowing down here. A couple of these are kind of slowing down. Another stock has popped up, MRVI. MRVI I'm seeing. So this one is above 5. It broke the ATR big. So this one wouldn't be one that I would be like, oh, let me just buy, because I don't know what it wants to do. But it continues to push out here, 811s. Let me actually look into this stock, MRVI, up 58%. Maravia Life Sciences Holdings. The description: life science company provides products to enable the development of drug therapies, diagnostics, novel vaccines, and support research on human diseases in the United States and internationally. The company products address the key phases of biopharmaceutical development and include nucleic acids for diagnostics and therapeutic applications, antibody-based products to detect impurities during the production of biopharmaceutical products, and products to detect the expression of proteins in tissues and various species. Okay, so let's see. They're talking about DNA, RNA. Okay, a lot of the code of the body. The company was incorporated in 2020 and is headquartered another Californian company out here. The other one we saw was IT based and was doing everything in the world for IT. So this is a biotech company pushing out of there, and I don't know what kind of. Let me jump over here to the statistics to see the float and all of that. So the float is not being expressed on Yahoo Finance for some reason. Let me go somewhere else for MRVI. The float is, wow, that's a big float. 106.63. And this is why we use multiple sources. We want to see this kind of stuff so we don't get into a chop factory. 106.63 million in the float. Let's go check it market watch here. MRVI. Yep. Public float 106. So yeah, that's a no-go. It's gonna be way too choppy. MRVI. No kind of shelf registrations, but that float is off-putting. Same thing over here. Okay, so multiple sources saying it's 100 million in the float. Yahoo Finance wasn't even showing a float at all. So yeah, I'm gonna leave that alone. Up 50%, but I am going to let that one live. Okay, Lunar continues to bundle down. Was at the 11, has given back $2 worth of profit. Square also doing a nosedive through the ATR. So this is the first 30 minutes. This is what I let play out. And then I'm looking for it to, after the first 30 minutes, can it come back and hold this? Now at this point, it's definitely got some momentum going away from the ATR here at the like the $81, right? It's too much momentum there. Let's jump up to what was the other one? Carvana. Still going higher, but again has no real support there to buy anyway. And then SUGP was one that we had looked at earlier, but I thought it was going to continue fading. It threw a little wick and tried to get up here to the ATR at the last minute, but this is not looking great. Getting pushed back down here. Now this could be considered a inverted hammer, which means that it is going to go higher because buyers are trying to come in. But you know, you just manage your risk. The ATR low is the 437 here, and it's currently at $5. So if you were to put your stop here, you'll be risking what, about 80 cents per share if it were to stop you out. and I think it definitely has a high probability of stopping you guys, especially being playing around this $5 level like it is. All right. So I have about 5 minutes left on the stream, and I'm going to go and do some other things. I really don't see anything that I can scalp today. I pretty much have my criteria that I look for, and I could just look at the chart and I'm like, oh nope, that's not it. That's not it. Even if later on in the day it rips, I'm okay with that because it'll be out of my time frame anyway. So I just like whatever. Donnell's calling back out SUP. Oh yeah, we just looked at that. Yep, he called this one out. And, like I said, it could be an inverted hammer, but based on the pre-market action, this looks like more of a fade. Maybe if it was holding some type of range, or if it had a move up and it dipped down into this, maybe there would be some bounce. But I don't really know if that's going to be the case here for this one, especially as the volume dries up. We can look at the buy sell indicator, and it's barely moving. Like, where's the volume? It's almost sitting still. It almost looks like it's halted. Maybe, is it halted? This one may just be halted. That may just be the case. Let me go jump over here. This thing may actually be halted. Yes, 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 it is. 53. So it halted at 53, 56. Should be opening up at 58, 56. I was like, this thing is, I thought the volume was just drying up. No, no, no. It's halted down. So yeah, yeah, that's definitely one that we pray for the people that are in there. RIP. We've seen a couple of stocks halt like this to the downside. And they open up lower. I forgot which one it was later. Was that this week or last week? It halted at 12, opened up at 10, had a little bit of bounce, and just continued down. It's crazy. That's a $2 loss. So if you jump in with 2,000 shares, every dollar is $2,000. So think about not even having any control. It opens up at 10. You down 4K. Boop. Just like boop. So, if you have the money to throw like that, even if you have the money to throw like that, you're making bad decisions, and you have to find a way or figure out a way to um definitely not be in something that risky, right? Because something like that has no news, no reason to go up. It has every reason to get halted down. But we'll see how that opens up here. At the 56, we have 56 seconds before this thing pops open. And we'll see if it opens up lower. And yeah, that'll probably be the stream for me today. And appreciate you guys for definitely dropping in. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe. I'm streaming on multiple platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Kick. So whatever you're on, just show some support if you like the content. And we take a pretty a little bit more analytical approach to trading, a little bit more patience, and kind of trying to get into positions where we can capitalize quickly and we don't have to risk a whole lot. And if we do risk, it's not like we're giving back, giving away our clothes and shoes and house and all of that, right? But yeah, looks like this is going to be a 10-minute halt on SUGP. It was supposed to open up on the 56, I believe. I mean, yeah, 56 seconds. Yeah, so this is a 10-minute halt on SUGP. Not looking good on that one. But yeah, that is it for me today. I'm going to go ahead and go do some other things and handle some business. Appreciate you guys once again. Let's see. And as always, if you're going to continue trading, definitely keep your head on a swivel. Don't ruin your weekend trying to find a trade on a Friday, especially on a short week. This was a shorter week. Next week we'll have a whole full week to work with. But yeah, keep your head on a swivel. Enjoy your weekend. And as always, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.